A pretty decent day on tap for Thursday, and then another chance for showers late Friday into early Saturday. Dan?
All right, Jason, thank you very much. Patrick Stella from National Grid is here to answer your questions about saving money on your electric bill this winter. Patrick, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Dan.
And so, speaking about winter, the Farmer's Almanac is saying we're going to have a tough one this year. But last year was just as bad. I mean, we had a pretty rough winter last year. So what happened there in terms of, people saw their electric bill go up and up and up and up and up. So what happened there?
Yeah, it was kind of tough on us as the utility as well, because we don't control the supply costs. We kind of pass those on to customers. It's sort of like parts and labor when you're getting a car fixed. That's kind of the parts section that we kind of pass on to customers. And those prices spiked, and it was hard on us to try to control those costs. It was hard on our customers as well. But there are some things that we're doing. We're trying to buy a little bit more on contract basis ahead of time to try to mitigate that a little bit. And we're doing things like this, trying to educate customers a little bit on what they can do.
Is it mainly because when it gets cold, things go up pretty much because it's supply and demand, right?
Basically, it's a supply and demand thing. In New York State, we also have some issues with capacity and getting fuel to the generating stations, and those are some long-term things that are going to have to be sorted out elsewhere. But that's why it's important for customers to know what they can do just on their end to kind of bridge the gap. Some of those other things are done. Right.
It brings us to this question then.
Yes.
So you guys are doing stuff on your end to try to mitigate some expenses for them. What can people do now? Because, if it's going to get cold this year, I'm sure people will see their electric bill spike. So what can they do this year to try and lower their bills?
Yeah, well, the first thing really is budget billing. And a lot of people know that we have a system where you can get on a budget bill plan, and it will kind of spread those payments out across 12 months. But we only have about 10% of our customers who are really, taking advantage of that. So that's something to look at now, that you could actually get on that budget billing plan, and that can help mitigate those costs so you don't see those big high spikes in the summertime. But other than that, it's really down to energy efficiency.
People have heard that before. I mean, is it that they're not getting the message, or is it that they just change their light bulbs and they think that it's good enough?
Yeah, sometimes it's a little bit of that, but light bulbs are getting better even. I mean, a couple years ago we were talking about CFLs, and now we're talking about LEDs, which are even better. They're very, very low energy use bulbs. They're a little bit pricier on the front end, but they last a long time, and they really can save, anywhere up to $10 to $15 a month. Depending on how much you're using your lights from an old incandescent bulb.
Right. $15 a month?
It could be.
That's a good chunk of change.
Yeah, yeah. And there's a lot of other things. I mean, there's insulation. Definitely check your windows and your doors. National Grid has rebates if you want to go up a little bit and spend some money on a high efficiency furnace. That can save you quite a bit of money to actually upgrade your furnace, and we try to help you with the cost, because obviously a more energy efficient furnace is more expensive, so we have rebates for those.
What kind of help we're talking about here? Rebates up to like half the cost, or a quarter of the cost?
It could be up to about $400 for those things, and really what the idea is to try to offset the difference in cost between buying a regular, a less efficient furnace versus a more efficient furnace. So we're trying to help. Okay, if I have to make a choice between buying this more expensive one, I can get a rebate that will make up the difference for that.
So as for windows and doors now, okay, so people, I mean, that's where people are losing an incredible amount of heat, correct?
Yes.
That's where they seep out a lot.
Yeah, definitely. If you can't replace the windows, you can certainly go through there and put caulking in there, and have, NYSERDA has a program where they'll come in and do an energy audit of your home, so you can take advantage of that. One very simple thing is if you turn your heat down about 1 degree, you could save 1 to 3% annually on your bill. So that's 1 degree that can do that.
And there's a big thing there, because people, I mean, what's the ideal place to be? Like in the middle of the winter, is it 65 when you're not home, 62 when you're not home, and when you get home you bring it up to like 68? What's the ideal where you can save the most money?
I don't know if there's an ideal, and I think it's really hard because customers are so different, and we don't want people to be cold. I mean, you want to try to do it as, where you're still comfortable and keep it as low as you can. I mean, obviously the lower you set it, the more money you're going to save. You don't want to be there bundled up in your jackets and things all winter long. So, it's a hard one. It's a hard one to say, but definitely the lower you can keep it and still be comfortable, the better off you're going to be.
So if you're at 50,
it'd probably be a little bit cold. I don't know if I'd do that.
No, I'm kidding. But of course, so 62, 63. It gets a little chilly in the house, but you'll be saving some decent money there.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
I mean, I when we're not at home, in my home, we try to keep it down to like 62 or something like that when I'm not there, and then we crank it up a little bit. Depends on the day. It's and last winter we saw a lot of those really cold ones.
All right, Patrick Stella from National Grid. Good advice. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Appreciate it. I think people will take take those advice and maybe do some action with it. So we'll see.
Hope so.
Thank
Thanks,
you
Dan.
so much. More information on our website at WNYT.com. Troy celebrates the inaugural open of a new street fair. We'll show you.